Samoa Joe is the new AEW champion, and it is absolutely a joke to me.
You gotta give Moxley so much credit.
I think Kyle Fletcher can be the biggest babyface in AEW someday.
Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, a show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout, as after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage, and enjoy the show. Last night was AEW Full Gear 2025, and what a show it was. Let's kick things off immediately, guys, with Pac versus Darby Allin.
Honestly, this was a heck of a match. I know how good of a wrestler Pac is. I've always known how good of a wrestler Pac is, and I'm so glad we don't have to call him Neville anymore. It's one of my favorite things about it, but I am so not used to the look, the new look, the gear, and everything yet. But this match was exactly what it needed to be. Like you mentioned before, he got the job done that Moxley couldn't get done. I do think he is a perfect candidate to be the next leader of the Death Riders.
I think AEW does a phenomenal job with these factions and these storylines tied to it. Let it be the Death Riders, let it be the Callis family, and the eventual breakdown of this, the eventual John Moxley getting kicked out the whip. Pac, he's a guy who's so talented, and he needs to be positioned so high onto the card. This was a perfect first step for it.
Let's talk about the four-way tag team match, a match which I didn't really understand why it was on the card. I felt like if they were going to do it, it should have just been for the titles. And to be honest, I think a lot of people in the crowd felt the same. Yes, they were hot at times, but for the most part, it just didn't really feel like many people cared about this match. And in the end, the timeless love bombs got the victory, a real feel-good moment, but a feel-good moment which ultimately means nothing apart from that they are seemingly not going to be winning these tag team belts, Shard. I want to get your take.
If you win a match against all the competitors that are in the tournament, you should be crowned champion. In theory, that's what it goes in my mind. Like, there shouldn't be any more room for a tournament at this point.
It just says they're not going to win the titles at the end of the day. So it was like, here, look, you can win this match on the pay-per-view, but that's all you get.
FTR are the new tag team champions, and this match, it was really strange because the first half of it, let's be honest with ourselves, it was a little bit of a disaster class. It was really unform-like for all four men, but it was botch after botch after botch. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but thankfully in the second half, it really picked up, and it was a bucket load of fun, Clark.
Bandito, what a run with the tag team titles that they've had this year. Bandito is up there for Men's Wrestler of the Year in my eyes, no doubt about it. And Brody King, you cannot give him enough credit, especially as a tag team wrestler. You can almost pair him with anybody, but the pairing with Bandito worked out so great. It is cool to have another title run for FTR in this situation, but every time FTR holds the belt, I just feel like we're trying to work our way back to FTR versus the Bucks. I hope this isn't the end of Brodito in their partnership. I hope this isn't the end of them as a tag team. I hope they can still continue to work as a team, even if they do go on like separate singles runs potentially of sorts. I hope that we still get to see Brodito at least as a factor in the tag division.
They had us in the first half. Second half, they definitely cooked. They definitely showed why they are four of the best wrestlers in the world, two of the best tag teams in the world. And you know what? I'm going to trust the storytelling because I think the big match that we are going to build up to is FTR versus Cope and Christian, CNC.
Ricochet is the inaugural AEW national champion, and I do think as somebody to go around different promotions, to go around the world, he is the right choice because he has proved so far in this run he can go in the ring, and he's doing some fantastic heel work as well, Shard.
Ricochet is clicking on all cylinders since he's come to All Elite Wrestling. His heel turn has been one of the best heel turns in professional wrestling, and he is crowned the new champion. I thought it was great. I thought the gauntlet was fine, solid enough. You got a lot of familiar faces. You got a little bit of the, how you say it, like faction wars between a lot of the similar groups.
Monster shout out to Kevin Knight. He took the pin at the end of the match, but talk about a guy that actually stood out in a match amongst a bunch of different people in the ring. I thought he did a great job in his role last night.
Once again, John Moxley tapped out. He gave up. I'm predicting it right now. This week on Dynamite, Pac is putting a bag over his head, and Moxley is getting kicked out of the Death Riders, because if looks could kill, that Claudio Castagnoli look after the match certainly would.
I will also double down and continue to predict that Jon Moxley gets kicked out of the Death Riders every week till he finally does. I'm in the same boat. That way I'll be correct. So yes, I do think it's this Wednesday, and if it's not this Wednesday, it will be Saturday next week. I thought it was funky as could be that we had no holds barred and no disqualification on the same card. It basically means the same thing these days, but I truly
next
love
to each other as well.
Next to each other, no less. Yeah, I truly did enjoy this match, though.
If there's anybody that has been, transcended and positioned higher in the last few weeks in AEW, it is Kyle O'Reilly. And it is well-deserved, man. This is a guy who is a, borderline legend for how long as he's been wrestling at this point, right? From the days of Ring of Honor to what he's done in Black and Gold NXT. I am so compelled about the Death Rider story. And I just want to say that with the loudest chant that I can ever put out there, because this is a faction, myself included, has criticized and put under a lot of scrutiny over the last year in AEW. But look where we are now. They got us. They got us eating from the palm of their hand. We care about the story. And it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, they are doing so good of a job with these heel factions and telling the story within the story between them and getting us really, really invested on how this eventual breakup is going to be. You got to give Moxley so much credit.
Kyle Fletcher has lost the TNT Championship to Mark Briscoe. I really wish this Fletcher run would go on a little bit longer. I think he deserved a longer title run, but Mark Briscoe also deserves his flowers. He has been Mr. Pay-Per-View this year. He has really, really delivered all the chances he's been given.
This is probably arguably match of the night to many people. Physicality, the bloodshed, the near finishes, the table spots, everything, man. It was just a instant display of violence and war. Mark Briscoe deserved this moment last night. That man is a legend. That man is one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. That man is a Ring of Honor legend. And what he's done, after tragedy, losing his brother at an early age in his life and really paying homage to him and really living his legacy, Mark Briscoe has really, really transcended into a singles competitor in AEW.
2 years ago on this very program, I said, I don't understand Kyle Fletcher. That was pre-haircut, and I was wrong, because now I don't understand how he's so dang good. I think Kyle Fletcher can be the biggest babyface in AEW someday. Somehow. I don't know why I see that. I can't put my finger on exactly why I believe that, but I think he can carry the world title and be the biggest babyface in the company. Somehow, the way he evolved from being the floppy-haired kid in a tag team that's the younger of the two, the young talented guy, into this bald, menacing, absolute killer. I think he can continue to evolve throughout his career. He's got a little bit of Orton in him. I compared Hangman Page to Shawn Michaels. He's got a little bit of Orton in him, but he's also got a little bit of various other legends. I don't want to say Cena because everyone's going to jump on me, but I see a little bit of Cena where it took a heel turn from being the wholesome, ruthless aggression kid. It took a heel turn to bring out the best in John Cena, and then he became the biggest babyface there is. I could see an arc like that for Kyle Fletcher, seriously, because
the reason maybe you think that is because I did an entire video on it 6 months ago saying this guy, young Orton, he's going to become the babyface of the company. This is going to be the guy who goes to media, does those interviews, because he is fantastic when he's actually just as a person doing those interviews. Whereas a Will Ospreay can do it, but he hates doing it. Kyle Fletcher enjoys that, and that is where I do think long term this is their John Cena. Let's talk about the $1 million 6-man tag team match. I hate this stipulation. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of this match itself. It was kind of, toilet break for me almost. In fact, it actually was. And it was just in a really dead spot on the card. But ultimately, it was what happened after the match which really mattered. Because the Elite are back together again.
I thought maybe the funniest thing that happened all of last night on the entire show was a team wearing money print pants, dropping bags of money to run back to the ring and help out their buddy. That was not lost upon me.
I think a lot of it plays off of the AEW shows kind of being as long as they are and it kind of taking out energy. I was a little tired at this point of the match as well, but solid enough.
Monet and Stats showed that they have fantastic chemistry together. It's not talked about enough. These two, every time they're in the ring, make magic, and they did it again last night. A fantastic co-main event, and I'm thrilled for Chris Statlander because she has finally beaten Mercedes Moné, and 15-belt Moné, well, it's not to be, but will this be the downfall for Moné?
I think the story is Mercedes can win every belt across the nation, across the pond. The only one she can't win is that big one. And for her to get to that big one, I think, like you mentioned, she's got to be stripped of everything. She's got to be stripped of her TBS title, all the indie belts, the ROH belt, and she's got to be kind of left in a story where she has lost everything and she has everything to fight for. And that's when she gets to that big championship. And I think that is what we're leading to.
I will say this. I love this Mercedes Moné is Josh Allen. Is what it basically it is at this point. Like, she's gonna win every other game, all the important ones except the one big one. She's gonna have to wear like Buffalo Bills themed gear when she finally does win the title. There's so many Bills comparisons you can make. It's like the Bills in the 90s, 4 straight Super Bowls, 4 straight losses.
Samoa Joe is the new AEW champion, and it is absolutely a joke to me. Hangman Adam Page should have had a way longer reign. This title change is genuinely the first men's title change in AEW history, where I've looked at it and said, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. It's not necessary. We don't need to see the title in another faction, another heel faction, once again. Yes, Swerve returning was a great moment, but that does not justify a title change.
I don't hate the result as much as you do here, because I got to give Samoa Joe credit where it's due. I don't think he's got a lot of time left as far as the career is concerned to carry the title. If he's going to, now makes a lot of sense.
So there's a difference of not deserving it and not needing it. And this is a situation where I feel like Joe doesn't necessarily need to be world champion. This just feels so redundant of a storyline between these guys and this whole frenemy angle between Hangman and Swerve. I get it. They have great chemistry. They tell the best stories upon any wrestlers out there. I would rather it be a little bit longer before we go back to these two being positioned with each other again. Me and Clark had this beautiful monologue about how we loved Hangman Adam Page and the work he's doing. Tony Khan said, all right, watch this.
Dude, the Kevin jumboed us. He was like, no, it's
too much positivity, guys.
They had such a great weekend and they had to shoot themselves in the foot in the last 10 minutes. We will be back the same time, same place tomorrow to answer some of your hot takes for Mailbag Monday. See you guys then. Peace.